Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
And we are live here in Queens, New York. It is the NYSCHSAA State Championship semifinals on the campus of St. John's University. Game number one, it is the 3 seed, the Canisius Crusaders out of Buffalo, against the number 2 seed, Kellenberg Firebirds out of Long Island. Lance Meadow with you here for Varsity Media. So glad you could join us, as this should be quite the matchup leading into then the second contest between Iona Prep and Archbishop Malloy. Both winners will then advance to tomorrow afternoon's championship game. This is a Canisius team that comes in at 17-12 overall. Kellenberg 19-10. Canisius won the Georgetown Cup, winning a 3-game series against Nichols, and Kellenberg won a 3-game series against Chaminade in walk-off fashion, with Andrew Noe coming through with an RBI single in extras in the 8th inning to win that third and final contest. So that is how both of these teams advanced to the state tournament, which was implemented in 2022. So still a very short sample size of this being in existence, but both of these teams will capitalize on the opportunity. Let's take you through some of the notable players to keep close tabs on just before we get into the first pitch here. And we'll start with Canisius, and it's about David Barzak as well as Luke Golembayeski. Barzak, their third baseman, who leads the team in triples and walks, as we see some of his other numbers this season. And then Golembayeski tops the team in hits, home runs, and RBI. And he drove in 3 runs in Game 3 against Nichols, which helped them decide the Georgetown Cup. On the flip side, for Kellenberg, it is about Andrew Noe, who I mentioned earlier off the top of the broadcast. He has been so consistent, so dynamic in clutch situations, has the highest on-base percentage for the team. And then Van Vaiketis, who is topping the team with a .365 batting average, also leads the team in hits, tied for first in home runs, RBI, as well as slugging percentage. These 2 players in particular have been doing a lot of the heavy lifting throughout the course of this season. I had an opportunity to speak to both coaches leading up to this contest, and they ran through some of the keys to the game, and let's take you through them. For Kellenberg, it's about strike percentage. Needs to be a minimum 60%. You can throw 90 miles per hour, Pat Miles says, but if you're not getting Ks, it doesn't make a difference. Comfortable and confident with their defense, and then offensive execution, bunt, stealing, and so forth. For Canisius, throwing strikes, making routine plays, and grinding out at bats, which is their MO, that last facet. And on the hill for Kellenberg is going to be Jack Durso, who has been one of the best pitchers in the area over the course of this season and even beyond. When you talk about Durso, you're talking about a player that is going to be taking his talents to the University of Miami, a left-hander, and Canisius hasn't necessarily seen a player of his caliber throughout this season. As we look at his numbers, a sub-1 ERA. He's got a 4-4 record, but there's not much to read into that. It's all about his stuff. And he threw a 4-hit complete game shutout on 104 pitches in a 1-0 win against St. Anthony's during their playoff run. He had 9 Ks and 2 walks in that outing. He did pitch Game 1 of the City Championship Series against Chaminade. Went 4 2/3, gave up 2 runs, both earned on 4 hits and 4 walks in that contest. And he struck out 4 as they lost that affair 2-1. That was his last outing. We'll take you through the starting lineup for Canisius. And this is a lineup that is very balanced when you look at the makeup and the DNA of this squad. They have 5 players hitting over 300. They're batting .307 as a team. Einen leading things off, and then we talk about Golan Bayeski towards the middle of the lineup. It'll be Einen, the shortstop, as he will take a strike here to get things underway in the top of the first inning. The senior out of Hamburg, New York. He's batting .312 on the year as he fouls that one back. 29 hits and 17 RBI on the season. And Justin Santadecido, their head coach, talks about how he makes routine plays time and time again. He's been battling injuries, but he has still remained committed to this team. He actually shattered his ankle last year. He suffered that while playing hockey with the Junior Sabres. As he lines one into center field, and that is a good start for Canisius as they put the leadoff runner on here, and it is Gavin Einen coming through with his 30th hit of the year. So I mentioned he shattered his ankle playing hockey, needed 13 screws and plates, and he was out 7 months. I actually thought his career was over, but he rehabbed aggressively, and it's good to see him back in the thick of things. Putting a runner on here for David Cloyd, who watches one sail straight through the outside corner for strike 1. Cloyd, the senior out of West Seneca, New York. So they start this lineup off with upperclassmen. As the runner goes, it's going to be a strike, and the throw to second is off the mark. So now Einen in scoring position as he is able to claim a base. And Cloyd here can quickly untie this scoreless affair with a base hit. A .333 hitter. It goes up to .375 with runners in scoring position this season. He has 29 hits and 13 RBI. And we mentioned one of the keys is for them to grind out at bats. He is the definition of that. As you can see now, he's trying to fight his way back into the count. Someone that provides valuable leadership for this team and is more than comfortable making the necessary sacrifices for the betterment of the squad as Durso's pitch misses outside to even the count. And probably the best example of his sacrifices, Cloyd is a catcher by trade, but he likes to play center field, and when he brought that to the coaching staff, they gladly moved him over. A great snag there by Durso to throw Cloyd out at first, but it does do the trick to advance Einen to third as the go-ahead run now 90 feet away here in the top of the first. As Jack Durso is such an athletic two-way player, and his numbers really don't do him justice, and that last flash of leather was a perfect example. It's not just about his hitting and his prowess on the hill. It's also what he can do from a defensive standpoint as he continues to start off his counts here with strikes. As this is David Barzak falling behind. Junior out of Orchard Park, New York. A .403 hitter, that's second on the team as he lifts one into the gap in left center field. And running over to make the grab is Carson Fessler. It's going to go down as an RBI sac fly off the bat of Barzak as Einan comes in to score. And Canisius does not waste any time, taking an early 1-0 lead here in the first. So Barzak did exactly what he needed to. Put the ball in play, lifted it deep enough, and that bought Einan plenty of time. As the first pitch is lined into right field for a base hit for Golan Bayeski. As Canisius coming through now with its second single here in the first inning. And he did not waste any time going to work against Jack Durso. And that is the most dangerous hitter in the lineup, 447, and that average is going to increase thanks to that latest connection. So Justin Ostenpowski, the fifth hitter in the lineup, second baseman. We'll jump ahead of the count here. 1 ball, no strikes. Ostenpowski, a junior out of Orchard Park, New York, a .269 hitter, 21 hits and 13 RBI. And he's looking to add to that tally as they look to pad their lead. The Crusaders, they also won the Georgetown Cup in 2021, but that was before the state tournament began. So this is their first opportunity on this stage, and they are ultra excited. Coming down from Western New York as that nasty breaking ball just misses. Durso has such command of his pitches, and it's hard to get him in a precarious spot where mentally he'll take himself out of the game, as that one will bring everybody back to their respective spots. The University of Miami gaining a 6'4", 215-pound left-hander. And players like this are far and few. And he's going to be their designated hitter in this lineup in addition to pitching. And he did everything he could to keep his team in Game 1 of the City Championship Series. Just didn't get the run support as the runner goes. A swing and a miss. And that will take care of the final out here in the top of the first as Durso gets his first K. And with that, we take a breather. We move to the bottom of the first. Kellenberg looking to tie things up, trailing Canisius 1-0 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Doc Gooden, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media.
Back here in Queens, New York, as we move to the bottom of the first, Kellenberg looking to tie this game, trailing 1-0 to Canisius in the 2-3 matchup, Game 1 of the New York State Catholic High School Athletic Association State Tournament. And it is Mariano Kasha, the third baseman, batting .296 this season, going up against Josh Candifer, 6'4" junior out of Lancaster, New York. This is his 11th appearance and 10th start this season. He's 5-0 with a 1.14 ERA. And it's going to be a free base right off the bat for Kasha. And just like we saw Canisius put the leadoff runner on, Kellenberg follows the same script. So that'll bring up Lucas Van Vakitis, their right fielder, who's hitting a team best .365 this season with 31 hits, 3 home runs, and 22 RBI. And he leads the team in all of those categories. He's tied for home runs. But you'd be hard-pressed to find some label that he is not at the top of the list for this squad. He's slugging .600 this year as Candifer keeping close tabs on Kasha, who has 11 stolen bases in as many attempts this season. As that pitch fouled out of play, 4 players are hitting over 300 for Kellenberg. Van Vakitis is one of them. Overall, the team bats .273, and they're known for their prowess on the base paths. They have 62 stolen bases and an 85% success rate. So that's why Candifer is making Kasha think twice before he perhaps takes off. And he did not learn his lesson. He is once again gets a comfortable jump from first. And that breaking ball just misses inside. Candifer's last outing was last Thursday, Game 2 of the Georgetown Cup Series against Nichols. Through a complete game shutout, 4 hits, no walks, struck out 3 to earn the win, as this one is popped up into right field. And there to make the catch is NYSCHSAA for out number 1. So that'll bring up Jaden Valdez, first baseman for Kellenberg. A .246 hitter with 16 hits. And he is tied with Van Vakitis with 3 home runs. He's driven in 13 this season. As Candifer continues to play catch at first base with Kellenberg. Still trying to find that strike zone in the early goings of this one. Valdez won an open competition at first base, which went about 1/3 of the season. But once he took over the reins, he made it very difficult for head coach Pat Miles and company to take him out of the lineup. He's had several big hits this season. And here's an opportunity for another with a runner on first base. That's if Candifer takes his attention away from that area, as Kasha has been a menace on the base paths this season. Jack Durso, the pitcher and designated hitter, on deck, as that breaking ball fools Valdez. He was swinging for the fences on that one. And Valdez does have the power, so it's not a surprise that he would look to send it deep to the dimensions here on the campus of St. John's. As the runner goes, he lifts one into right field, and NYSCHSAA is able to reach out, but no, they're going to say he did not make the clean grab, and as a result, both runners are safe. So a missed opportunity there for NYSCHSAA, who looked as if, as we see the replay, was right underneath it, and you're going to see it bounced off of his glove and was not able to secure it. So as a result of the mishap, we've got runners on first and second here with 1 out in the bottom of the first. As Kasha now is in scoring position, and a check swing did not execute successfully for Durso, as they're going to say he went around. So the second straight batter that went in the direction of NYSCHSAA. First one was Van Vakitas. That was caught. The second one, Valdez, put in a spot where Chimay just could not squeeze the glove. And now Jack Durso, the senior from Seaford, New York, a 305 batter. He's 296 with runners in scoring position as he sends one down the left field line, and that is going to head out of play. Durso with 18 hits, highlighted by 5 doubles and 15 RBI. And you can't think of a more attractive spot here to help his own cause. That pitch gets away from Candifer. Richie Lavaca is on deck, the shortstop, batting 5th in this lineup. Durso looking to do damage with his team trailing 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. As he gets underneath that one into shallow left center field. And backing up to make the grab is Gavin Ina. So Einan able to secure it, and that'll be out number 2. So it comes down to now Lavaca to try to extend this inning and capitalize on an attractive situation here for Kellenberg. And the first pitch, a swing and a miss. The junior shortstop, who is also tied for the team lead with 3 home runs, joining Van Vakitas and Valdez. A 275 hitter, 500 with runners in scoring position. Now leaving the count at 1 apiece. And Lavaca had a tie-breaking RBI double in the 5th inning of Game 2 of the City Championship Series against Chaminade. They won the last 2 games after dropping the first, as he foul tips that one off, with Kellenberg down to its final strike here in the bottom of the first. And he's dealt with his fair share of injuries this season. Pair of hamstrings that troubled him, but he attacked his rehab from day one. And he took this shortstop position, and he was not going to give it up. Created a lot of buzz when he was on the JV team, and he has lived up to those expectations here on varsity. One of the things that Pat Miles loves about Lavaca is the fight that he shows. And he's a great contact guy, and right now they need him to put a ball in play to try to create something here to perhaps tie or take the lead. And Candifer is going to say, not on my watch, as he puts him to rest with a K. And that will end the first inning here in Queens, with Canisius holding on to a 1-0 lead over Kellenberg as we move to the second at the campus of St. John's here in Queens, New York.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Back here in Queens, New York, with Canisius leading Kellenberg 1-0 in the first semifinal, with the winner advancing to tomorrow's championship game here in the NYSCHSAA State Championship Tournament. As we see Jack Durso back on the hill for Kellenberg. He had a chance to help his own cause, but he wound up popping out to short in the bottom of the first inning with a runner in scoring position. As Candifer did a really nice job keeping the Kellenberg bats quiet after Kasha got on to lead off the frame. And then Chimay not able to hold on to a Valdez fly ball in right. As Max Barr leading off, the left fielder. Barr also, like Durso, a two-way player who could do plenty of damage on the mound. Sophomore out of Orchard Park, New York. He's hitting .283 this season. There's Durso trying to fight his way back into the thick of things here. Barr's been the guy they have turned to on the hill in game threes throughout the playoffs. And Durso can't hold on to it after Valdez was able to secure the high chopper. So each team having its fair share of fielding issues. And as a result, for the second straight inning, Canisius puts the leadoff runner on. So you're going to see Valdez gets underneath it. And then he thought about taking it himself, but Durso beat him to the spot. And Durso just could not close his glove in time. And as a result, Max Barr leading the charge. So Chimay has a chance to make up for his earlier mishap in the box here. And these are the little things that can add up and haunt you when it's all said and done. And all four teams that are playing this weekend talked about the routine plays. You cannot give gifts to the opposition. You can't give them extra bats, especially a Canisius team that is so deep and dangerous. Chimay hitting .321 this season. 17 hits, 6 RBI. And this is a player that loves to play small ball, so it's going to be interesting to see what their approach is here. As Durso having trouble finding the strike zone with a 2-2 count. Chimay 5'9", 155. But don't let the frame fool you. Though Durso's pitch did that exact result, as we've got one away here in the top of the second. And for Durso, that is going to be his second K, as he was able to take care of Austin Pawski to end the first. So here is Aiden Emick, freshman catcher from West Falls, New York. Hitting .250 this season. As Durso is first going to keep close tabs on Max Barr. Barr has 3 stolen bases in as many opportunities this season, so not a huge threat. But taking a lead again from first and making Durso think about it. As Emick patiently awaits for a good offering. So Emick's one of 2 freshmen in the starting lineup for Canisius. And he has been starting for the majority of the playoff run. As he lifts one into the gap in left center field. That's going to drop through and go all the way near the track. Rounding third, heading home is Barr. He'll stand up and cross the plate. And in its second is Aiden Emick as he comes through with an RBI double to pad Canisius' lead. It's 2-0 over Kellenberg here in the second as the freshman coming through on the big stage. So the error by Durso comes back to bite him as Emick took full advantage to bring Barr home. And we'll now see the ninth hitter, Jack Gansey, their designated hitter, as he has a runner in scoring position. And that breaking ball is able to paint the inside corner for strike number one. Gansey, senior out of Buffalo, New York, batting .211 this season, 12 hits, 6 RBI. That was Emick's fourth double of the season. As Durso trying to go back to that breaking ball again, but this time misses. And Justin Santadecito, the head coach for the Crusaders, very pleased with Gansey and what he's been able to do to fill a void that they had at designated hitter. And a high chopper again to Valdez. This time, an underhand throw to Durso, and Durso takes his time as he's able to step on the bag for out number two. That will, though, advance Emick to third base. So they've got another runner 90 feet away with their leadoff batter now in the box, Gavin Einen, who had a base hit and a stolen base in his first opportunity, as he's brushed back on that offering. Durso trying to keep this a 2-run game with Emick lurking at third. The Canisius team that has given Durso everything that he can handle thus far in the early goings of this contest. As that one bounces into the dirt, Emick's going to charge home. No throw, and he'll slide in safely to make it a 3-0 contest. As Durso's pitched, bounced right in front of Cotto, and Emick was able to take advantage. So we'll see. He tried to block it, Cotto. It caromed to the right, and he tried to barehand it, and he was not looking down at the ball, and as a result, Emick was able, without hesitation, to come home. So they've added now 2 runs here in the second, and it's going to be a free base for Einen as he draws a walk and is on for the second time today. David Cloyd grounded out to first, to the pitcher, in his first at bat. Great flash of leather by Durso. And Durso now is going to watch Einen, who has stolen 15 bases in 16 attempts coming in to this contest. And he already added another. He fulfills the role of a leadoff hitter and then some. And he's going to go again. A swing and a miss. The throw to second is not going to be in time. And how about Gavin Einen on base twice and 2 swipes as he puts yet another runner in scoring position. The senior out of Hamburg, New York, is putting his stamp all over this contest here in Queens, New York. So he is treating New York City like his own backyard, as now Durso continues to keep close tabs on him, and that breaking ball not able to find the strike zone here. David Cloyd looking for his first hit today. He's trying to tie Einen with 30. A 3-1 count here for the senior center fielder. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and it is line foul. One of the things that Pat Miles talked about earlier this week that he was a bit concerned was the fact that, unlike the other teams in this tournament, they have gone 2 weeks without playing. Right around Memorial Day, they wrapped up their city championship, as that is going to be now back-to-back walks as Heinen stays put at second and Cloyd takes first. So he's on for the first time, and we're going to have a meeting on the hill. And as they discuss strategy, I mentioned that Pat Miles was concerned about the layoff because it's very hard to simulate competition amongst the team. And they had intra-scrimmage games over the last few weeks. He had mentioned to his players if any of them are in the position to take part in some games with their summer team, he gave them the green light because he wanted them to stay fresh. And that was the one thing he was focusing on in the back of his mind. How does the team respond in the first few innings? Do they need to warm up, or is it business as usual? And right now, not to make an excuse, but perhaps the lengthy layoff is what is contributing to some of the issues on both sides of the ball. And their strength is pitching and defense. Those are the two things they lean on. If you look at their scores this season, they're not going to put 12, 13 runs on the board. They're going to win low-scoring affairs, and they're going to do it with solid defensive play behind their arms. As David Barzak now has 2 runners on. He had an RBI sac fly in the first inning. And they're also effective in getting D'Urso's pitch count up, too. That's the other thing to watch as we move forward here. And that one gets away from Cotto, so both runners are going to advance to third and second, respectively. Einen takes third, and Cloyd heads to second. So now a base hit could potentially drive in a pair. And this is a big spot also for Michael Cotto, who is a freshman, just like Emick. It's amazing we have 2 freshman catchers in this game. That one grounded foul. As the tension starting to rise here with every pitch for D'Urso. Trying to keep this a 3-run game and hope that he and the offense can turn this game around. Canisius loves to put balls in play. They only have 1 home run on the season. This is not a power team, so this is their style. Play a little small ball. Be aggressive on the base paths. Test the opposing defense. This game is going according to script for them, but not the case for Kellenberg. As D'Urso tries to escape the jam, and he is bailed out by a flash of leather at third. As Kasha in perfect position to rob Barzak. And that will keep it a 3-0 game as we take another look. Kasha able to take care of business at the hot corner. It's a 3-0 affair in favor of Canisius as we move to the bottom of the second on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is 75,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
We move along to the bottom of the second here in Queens, New York, as Josh Candifer back on the hill for the Crusaders. You see his numbers coming in to this contest, and he did not give up a hit in the first inning. NYSCHSAA couldn't handle a fly ball out in right field, but he was able to work around that, getting Richie Lavaca to strike out. So the big right-hander will go back to work. And if you are Candifer, you're loving the fact that you've got a 3-run cushion so early in the game. Now, he's more than capable of keeping zeros across the board, but to get the run support early certainly helps. As we'll take a look at the starting lineup for Kellenberg, with Kasha in that leadoff spot, followed by Van Vakitas, Valdez, and Durso, the 3 and 4 hitters. Lavaca, I mentioned, was the last out of the frame, so they're going towards the bottom of the order. We got Langner, Cano, and Fessler due up, and then Andrew Noe is not your typical 9th hitter. On any other team, he's probably much higher in the lineup, but because of the talent surrounding him, plays his role to perfection, as that will head into no man's land. Langner, a .225 hitter. He has 16 hits and 18 RBI. He's tied for second in ribbies on this team. And he leads in runs and walks. He's known for his defense, but here's a big spot for him to come through with his bat, as he'll be taking his talents to Malloy moving forward. As he sends one into right center field. And backing up there to make the catch is David Cloyd, one away here in the second. So that'll bring up Michael Cotto. We were talking about him in the top of the inning. It was very active for him, trying to block pitches. Freshman batting .220 this season. 13 hits, 13 RBI. First freshman to ever make varsity for Kellenberg. They graduated both of their catchers last year, so clearly it was an open position. And Pat Miles has made the case that he very well could be the best defensive catcher in their league. Keep in mind, he's 15 years old. And he has to match wits with Jack Durso, who's a senior, who's going to Miami. So think about all the experience that Cotto is gaining in this season alone. And this is only year one. Trying to spark a rally here for the Firebirds, making their first appearance in the state tournament. The Long Island Catholic League has produced each of the first 3 state winners. So this is a team that is hoping to benefit from what has been a positive trend for their league. 2022 was Chaminade, 23 Holy Trinity, and then last year St. Anthony's. As Cotto fighting off pitch after pitch. And they won their first Catholic League title last month since 2017. They had won back-to-back championships in 16 and 17. And they were able to end the drought, edging out Chaminade in the 3-game series as Candifer's breaking ball gets away from him. They lost game 1 2-1. They won game 2 4-3, and then game 3 in walk-off fashion 3-2 in extras in the 8th inning. As he sends a grounder to second. And we'll have 2 quick outs here, thanks to Candifer's defense. As we look at the Canisius defensive alignment with Barr, Cloyd, and Chimay, the outfielders. Barzak, Einen, Ostempowski, and Golan Bieski manning the infield, and then Aiden Emick behind home plate with Candifer. Another example of an experienced pitcher working with a freshman catcher. Though Durso's a senior, Candifer is a junior, but still, the point is well taken. As Carson Fessler mistimed his swing on that offering. Speaking of seniors, that's what Fessler brings to the table, batting .310 this season. "13 hits, 9 RBI. He was 3 for 3 with a walk and a run scored in Game 3 against Chaminade to decide the city title. It was Noe, who's on deck, who had the timely hits, but should not be overlooked what Fessler did to put his team in position to do plenty of damage. And they have moved personnel around in the outfield this season, so Fessler has been part of that rotation. But they're very high on his defense. And once they gave him that position, he did not disappoint. And his offense has actually been a bonus this season. He's trying to keep this inning alive. And another ground ball to second. And it'll be a 1-2-3. No, it will not. It looked as if it had it written all over it. But the issues in the field just continue for both of these teams. And as a result of the ill-advised throw, heading to second is going to be Fessler. As we look at, once again, a routine play. And the throw just wide, pulling Golan Bieski way off the bag. As Ostempowski had plenty of time. It was not a hard hit ball, but he put too much mustard on it, and it sailed into the dugout. So now, what looked to be a 1-2-3 inning turns into a runner in scoring position with 2 out for arguably the most dangerous hitter over the last few weeks, and that is Andrew Noe. You cannot talk enough about the hero in the City Championship Series, a walk-off connection deep to right that drove in the game-winning run. A .356 hitter with 21 hits and 15 RBI. And he has a chance to play hero again here to put Kellenberg on the board for the first time today. And time called for, just as Candifer was into his windup. It's truly amazing the development of Noe in such a small period of time. He hit 125 last season, yet he's knocking on the door of 400 this year as the runner goes, and Fessler will have to jog back. It's so easy to overlook Noe. From an optics standpoint, he's 5'6". He's batting 9th in the lineup, and he has made team after team pay for their mistakes. But Candifer is not going to join that list because he blows one by Noe for his second K, and the error does not come back to bite Canisius. They keep it a 3-0 game over Kellenberg with 2 innings in the books on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
We move to the third inning here in Queens, New York on the campus of St. John's. So glad you could join us on the Varsity Media Sports Network. The New York Catholic League State Semifinals. This is Game 1. Game 2 coming up at 7 p.m. Eastern. Iona Prep and Archbishop Malloy, who just met in their city championship game, will collide yet again. But it is Canisius out of Buffalo with a 3-0 lead over Kellenberg, the Long Island champ. And Jack Durso has been involved in quite the battle, as it will be Luke Golembayeski leading off for Canisius. He had a single in his first at-bat. They scored 1 run in the first, thanks to an RBI sac fly. And then they got 2 runs in the second. And you had some wild pitches and fielding errors that Canisius was able to capitalize off of. As Durso still looking for his first clean frame. We thought we had the first 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the second, but it was Ostampowski who did not have a clean throw to first base. So that has been a huge storyline in this game. Defense, much more so than offense. And a ground ball to first. Valdez is there, and he will take it himself for out number 1. It's Jaden Valdez, who made a play on a high chopper earlier in this contest and tried to shuffle it to Durso, but Durso just could not hold on to it. This time, not relying on any assistance from his teammates. The junior first baseman secured that spot earlier this season, and that latest example is exactly why they feel so comfortable with him manning the bag. Ostampowski went down swinging in his first at-bat. Durso is able to pick up where he left off. 2 at-bats for Ostampowski, and 2 times that he sits down swinging, as that'll be the 3rd K of the day for Durso. And as we now see the 6th hitter in the lineup, Max Barr. And Barr was the one that arrived safely, as Durso wasn't able to handle the ball at the bag. So this time, he's going to look to complete the job, as Durso 1 out away from the first 1-2-3 inning. And you can see he's starting to settle down a little bit and get more and more comfortable. And part of it could very well be the lengthy layoff, considering you have to go even further back with Durso, considering he did not pitch in Game 3. As this one is sent into the gap in right center field, and Van Vakitas comes over to make the catch. So it is indeed a 1-2-3 third for Jack Durso. It stays a 3-0 game in favor of Canisius. We go to the bottom half of the frame on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Doc Gooden, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media.
Bottom of the third inning here in Queens, New York, with Kellenberg looking to spark a rally, trailing Canisius 3-0. And we're going to go to the top of the order for the Firebirds. As Candifer has yet to allow a hit because it was Valdez who arrived safely in the first thanks to an error by Chimay. And then there was another error in the second that put Fessler on. So Kasha, who got a free base in the first, takes a strike on the inside corner. As he chops one foul to the right of first base. And in Candifer's last outing, he only scattered 4 hits. So he has proven to be very tough to get a connection off of. This is his 11th appearance. In his first 10 appearances, he's given up 39 hits. So you do the math. He's allowing an average of just under 4 hits per game. More of a reason why there is additional pressure on the defense and the pitching for Kellenberg in this contest, because they are well aware of what they're going up against. And a ground ball to third. Barzak is there. He throws across the diamond. And we'll have one away in the bottom of the third. Lucas Van Vakitis flat out to right in his first at-bat in the first inning. Now, this is the second go-around of the lineup for Kellenberg, so they have now seen Candifer once as he fouls that one back into the netting. Now, this is a team that they're not very familiar with, considering they play in Western New York. Pat Miles and his staff were doing some scouting this week, watching their 3-game series against Nichols. But one of the things that he mentioned, when you're watching on the computer, it's hard sometimes to get a good taste of the velocity of the pitches. So that's another thing that Kellenberg, little by little, is trying to adjust to, is that went off the barrel of the bat, and that throw is not going to be handled by Golan Bayeski, as Emick put a lot of thunder behind that, and the ongoing theme of an eventful fielding day for both teams continues. As you see, bottom of the bat. So that's why Van Vakitis took off, and Emick fielded it cleanly, and it went right off the glove of Golan Bayeski. So Kellenberg has yet to have a hit in this game, but they have put 3 on. And Valdez showing bunt. He was one of those 3 base runners, but they were not able to advance him as Durso popped out to short and Lavaca went down swinging. Van Vakitas has 8 stolen bases in 10 attempts this season. And he will again take a comfortable lead off of first as Emick able to frame that one for a strike. Candifer and Golembayeski continue to play catch. One thing that Kellenberg has not been able to do is fluster Candifer. Even when they put base runners on, he has done a really nice job regrouping and leaning on his arsenal of pitches. As that breaking ball misses inside and the throw to second is offline. So in safely in scoring position is Van Vakitas. And now Valdez has a runner in scoring position, so Van Vakitas with his 9th swipe this season. And this is a Kellenberg team with over 60 on the year. So this is right along the lines of their DNA. They're not doing anything out of character as they're trying to fight their way back by putting runners on however they can get them. And then adopting that aggressive brand of baseball on the base paths. And Emick again able to hold on to that frame perfectly as Candifer sits down Valdez looking. That is his 3rd K of the afternoon. And that is out number 2. And now he has to solve the riddle of the opposing pitcher, Jack Durso. So this is quite the matchup here in the 3rd, with Durso in a spot to help his own cause, and he drills one deep into the gap in right center field, and that is going to be caught. My goodness, David Cloyd sliding in safely to make an absolute robbery, as Durso thought he had extra bases and an RBI written all over that, and maybe even took this the distance, but look at Cloyd stepping on the gas, jumping up on the horse, and then sneaking in with the grab. What an ending to the 3rd inning as we head to the 4th with Canisius flashing leather, holding on to a 3-0 lead on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any team looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media Sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
Loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly. Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash! What a way to end the 3rd quarter!
As West barks out the signals. West is going to keep it himself inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Southside!
Varsity Media offers sports coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
David Cloyd with a marvelous grab to end the 3rd inning and deny Jack Durso, of all players, what easily was going to be an extra base hit and in all likelihood was going to drive in the first run for Kellenberg. Instead, it is rows of zeros that Canisius behind Josh Candifer have been able to put across the board as they now turn back to their lineup against Durso. And this is going to be a big test for Durso because you can only imagine the range of emotions. You go from watching that ball aim towards the right center field gap, thinking, okay, this is the spark that we've desperately needed, and we're going to finally get it. to all of a sudden David Cloyd closing in second by second, and that opportunity just taken quickly away from you. And now he's got to get back on the mound and quiet this Canisius lineup. A lineup now will head towards the bottom of the order with SPORTSCAST, Emick, and Gansey due up. They're 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters. And SPORTSCAST struck out swinging in his first at-bat. Emick doubled, came in to score on a wild pitch, and then Gansey grounded out to first base. So they do have one hit amongst their bottom three hitters. SPORTSCAST has been tested out in right field, and he made a grab, and then on the very next play was unable to secure it. But Kellenberg could not take advantage, and that's been the big difference in this game thus far. You look across the board, both teams have had hiccups in the field, but Canisius has made Kellenberg pay, and that has not been the case for the Firebirds. SPORTSCAST thought he had a free base. Instead, resumes with a high chopper, and the off-balance throw is not going to be in time from Andrew Noe. And it is going to be an infield single for SPORTSCAST, coming through with his first hit of the afternoon. And now Emick, who already has a double under his belt, has one on with a chance to add to his tally. So this is quite the matchup. You've got a senior on the mound heading to Miami against a freshman playing in his first state tournament. And Emick wins the battle off of pitch number 1. And David Cloyd, who is a catcher by trade, but had a passion for playing center field, opens up a spot for Emick, and then Cloyd makes that exhilarating play. And speaking of center field, it is Carson Fessler able to come in to deny Emick a safe arrival. So that'll bring up Jack Gansey. But the reason why I highlight Cloyd is Cloyd very well could still be the catcher for this Canisius team. And think about the glove they remove from center field as a result of that. It's all of these little maneuvers, decisions that were made earlier in the season that get further highlighted in a scenario like this. As Canisius trying to advance to tomorrow's championship game. And Durso's off-speed pitch finds the strike zone. Top of the order, Gavin Einen on deck. He has already reached base twice this afternoon. As Gansey unable to handle that one from Durso. He goes down swinging for out number 2. And that is the 4th K for Jack. And that is the one facet of his game that has been so consistent and so reliable, regardless of the adventures that he may have to go along. Him and Cotto trying to get on the same page. SPORTSCAST leading off from first. He's going to go. The throw to second is in line, but the tag not in time. As Noe came over from second and leaped up. And then it looked as if perhaps Chimay overran the bag, but he was able to get back on it. And here's yet another look. So you're going to see, came off the bag a fraction of a second with his foot, but he was able to get back on it with his hand. It was a nifty maneuver to keep this frame alive. So Chimay now is 3 for 3 in stolen bases versus attempts. Einen can bring him home with a base hit. He singled and stole a base in the first. He drew a walk and stole a base in the second. But now, while he's in the box, he's watching a teammate follow that same script in Chimay. The 3-1 pitch, and that is going to be a walk to the leadoff hitter for the second straight at bat. And Einen now is on base for the third time today here in the fourth inning. And now we're going to have a chat on the hill, as they'll keep close tabs on Durso, who last check was over 50 pitches through just 3 innings, as they want to keep this a 3-run game. 4 hits for Canisius, none for Kellenberg, and both teams have combined for 4 errors. And that is a number that jumps off the page and the board. And in case you're just tuning in, that has defined this contest thus far. And Canisius has said, thank you very much on multiple occasions. Durso will now go mano a mano with the man who robbed him in the bottom of the third, David Cloyd, who walked in his last at bat, grounded out to Durso in the first. And a check swing, and they're going to say he went. Cloyd came into this game hitting .333. And Durso now 1 strike away from closing the door on Canisius here in the fourth. The 0-2 pitch, and he gets him looking. So Jack Durso, with his 5th K of the day, able to escape the jam and leave it 3-0. Canisius ahead as we move to the bottom of the fourth on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Bottom of the fourth inning here in Queens, New York, with Kellenberg trailing Canisius 3-0. And the Firebirds still in search of their first hit today. It will be Richie Lavaca leading off, with Ryan Langner and Michael Cotto following him, who are also due up. The 5th, 6th, and 7th hitters in the lineup. Lavaco went down swinging in his first at bat. And he takes a strike as Candifer has set the tone for the Crusaders. Josh was the pitcher of the year in the conference this season. Ground ball to short. Heinen is there. And a quick early out here in the fourth inning. So that'll bring up Langner, who will now have to face Candifer for the second time after he flied out to center in the second. And as you can see, Candifer, he stays within the 80 to 83 mile per hour radius. He's not a flamethrower, but it's all about location. And when he throws his off-speed stuff for strikes, he's in the zone. And the one thing that comes to mind in this game is the limited free bases. It's really been the errors that has allowed Kellenberg to get on base. A soft blooper is going to be snagged right down the left field line. Great hustle by Gavin Einen, who came all the way over to make the backhanded grab, as Langner thought maybe he had a chance to drop this one in. And Einen able to come over to back up Barzak for out number 2. So it has been the Einen show here. He's responsible for both outs in the fourth. We'll see whether or not Cotto aims elsewhere. Cotto grounded out to second in his first at bat. And a swing and a miss to make it 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Candifer has a chance for his first 1-2-3 frame. Last inning, he thought he had it, but an error continued it. And Cotto making him earn this with a patient approach in the box, and a rare occurrence in this game. We're going to have a payoff pitch coming with nobody on and 2 outs. And that is going to be a 2-out walk for Michael Cotto, as he's on base for the first time today. And Carson Fessler will now enter the box, the 8th hitter in the lineup, as we're going to have a pinch runner for Cotto. And he'll take a strike on the inside corner. And you can see this Kellenberg lineup getting a better read on Candifer. And time called right as Candifer was delivering. That's the second time that we've seen that happen in this contest. Fessler was the one that arrived safely at first due to the throwing error by Austin Pawski. That was in the second inning. Andrew Noe is on deck if Fessler can extend things, and Candifer will continue to play catch with Golan Bayeski. Candifer has 3 Ks in this game. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and the throw to second is going to be not in time. So Kellenberg with a runner in scoring position. And a 2-1 count now to Fessler. So all of a sudden, the activity on the base paths getting to Candifer a little bit. And an off-speed pitch gets the better of Fessler. Candifer coming off a complete game shutout in his last outing. Looking to put yet another 0 on the board, and that one just misses outside. So this is the second straight batter that has taken him to a full count. The payoff pitch and a chopper foul. So Fessler with just as impressive of an at-bat as Cotto before him. The 3-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Candifer does it again. His 4th K, and he silences Kellenberg's lineup with a runner in scoring position. Canisius leading Kellenberg 3-0 as we head to the 5th inning on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age.
Our follower base across social media is 75,000 strong,
and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
Off to the 5th inning we go here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Lance Meadow with you. And it is Canisius behind the arm of Josh Candifer, posting a shutout with a 3-0 lead. They have yet to allow a hit to the Firebirds as Jack Durso still grinding it out. He had the closest opportunity to put his squad on the board, but it was David Cloyd who had other plans with a fantastic grab out in center field to end the 3rd inning. Outside of that, it has been Candifer keeping this lineup in check, and now he'll look for some additional run support as we start the 5th inning with David Barzak, their 3rd baseman. Luko Lembayeski, will stay on deck and Justin Ostenpowski also due up. And Durso able to utilize that breaking ball to keep Barzak on his toes. He had an RBI sac fly in the first. He lined out to third in the second. And that was a significant grab by Kasha, given the fact that Durso had walked the previous two batters. If he didn't grab that, we probably would be looking at a much larger lead as that ball just drops foul down the right field line. Kellenberg, the number 2 seed in this state tournament. Canisius, number 3. And the 1-4 matchup will be game 2 of our doubleheader. It'll be Iona Prep against Archbishop Malloy, as they've met twice in the span of 10 days, going back to May 31st. So there is a wealth of familiarity between both of those teams. That is not the case between Canisius and Kellenberg. And he is going to get him looking. Barzak thought maybe he held up there, but it made no difference because Durso and Cotto were in sync. And that is going to be the 6th strikeout for Jack. He's only given up 4 hits in this game. The 3 runs have been aided by a pair of errors. That's where a score alone doesn't necessarily tell the whole story, as Golembayeski pops one up, and getting underneath it is Lavaca for out number 2. So that'll bring up Ostenpowski. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And he'll jump ahead of the count. 1 ball, no strikes. As we see Durso trying to pick up the pace, working a bit quicker. Cotto got a little too excited trying to throw the ball back to Durso. As Durso now 1 strike away from making this a 1-2-3 frame. And he does so. Right down Broadway, Durso with his 7th strikeout. And his arm is keeping the Firebirds in the thick of things. As we move to the bottom of the 5th, Canisius 3, Kellenberg nothing on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
So glad you could join us here at St. John's University, Queens, New York, for the first semifinal game of this New York Catholic High School Athletic Association state tournament. And it is Canisius shutting out Kellenberg 3-0 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. The Crusaders have leaned on aggressive base running, putting the ball in play, and that man on the hill, who has been a huge part of the equation, Josh Candifer. Who has tossed 4 scoreless innings of no-hit ball. He came into this game with a 5-0 mark, a 1.14 ERA, and he has lived up to the billing. Kellenberg will lead off with the bottom of the order, their 9th hitter, Andrew Noe, who went down swinging in his first at-bat in the second. Then we'll move to the top with Mariano Kasha, followed by Lucas Van Vaquitas. And both pitchers have combined for 11 strikeouts in this game. This has been quite the battle of 2 aces. As Noe shows bunt, pulls back, and he's going to take a strike. Andrew's older brother, Kenny, a freshman on the Monmouth baseball team, and he was player of the year last year in his senior season at Kellenberg. He and his brother had a healthy, brotherly competition, is the way that Pat Miles, the head coach, described things. As that one is chopped right off his foot. So he's going to try to run it off. A bit shaken up. Still in pain. As he's trying to fight through it to continue this at bat. And the reason why I bring up his brother, it just goes to show you the level of competition that he's been exposed to in and out of his family. And how that has prepared him to become such a lethal number 9 hitter. And not many teams can say that the 9th hitter in the lineup is batting .356 and has come through in the clutch, game in and game out. I mentioned the walk-off RBI connection in the 8th inning in Game 3 against Chaminade to win the city title. He also drove in a pair of runs in Game 2. He had an RBI single and a sac fly. And he had another hit in Game 3. So it's no surprise. He was the easy choice for MVP. It was not just about his heroics in Game 3. It went well beyond that. And does he have the magic in him again here against Candifer? And a liner bounces through into center field for the first hit of the day for Noe as well as Kellenberg. And that is just what the doctor ordered, to put the leadoff runner on and bring up the top of the order in the form of Mariano Kasha. So Candifer, 4 innings of no-hit ball. They finally get to him in the 5th. And Noe has 10 stolen bases in as many opportunities as he takes a strong lead from first. Grounded to short. There's one at second. The throw to first is in time. A 6-4-3 double play sparked by Gavin Einen to wipe out the leadoff hit from Andrew Noe. So Candifer again backed up by exquisite defense as Einen was perfectly positioned and then able to play catch with his teammates. As Ostenpowski and Golan Bayeski finishing the equation. So now Van Vaquitas with nobody on and 2 outs. He flied out to right in the first. He arrived safely thanks to an error at first in the third. And the first connection of the day for Kellenberg, short-lived. And that has been a theme in this game. Even after the errors, what Candifer has done after that has been significant. An error in the first, he gets a pop out to short and a strikeout as he tries to fight his way back into the count here. Then an error in the third, he gets a strikeout and a flyout. And then here, after a base hit, a grounder induced for a double play. The 3-1 pitch and a chopper to third. Barzak plays catch across the diamond again, and that is going to wipe out Kellenberg here in the fifth inning, as it is Canisius' defense on full display as we head to the sixth, with Canisius leading Kellenberg 3-0 in the first semifinal here in Queens on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Doc Gooden, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media @varsitymedia.
Moving along here on the campus of St. John's University in Queens. And this has been some pitching duel between Josh Candifer and Jack Durso, who is trying to keep it a 3-run contest. With now Canisius looking to pad its advantage in the top of the sixth inning, with their 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up. Max Barr, NYSCHSAA, and Aiden Emick. Barr arrives safely on a fielding error by Durso in the second, and then flied out to center in the third. Durso is up to 85 pitches. So he has been able to settle down after some ups and downs in the early goings of this contest, but he needs his offense to come through for him. That's going to determine the outlook of this contest more so than any other facet right now. The pressure is just on Durso to keep it at 3 runs off of 4 hits and 2 errors. This is off-speed pitch has been a work of beauty. And he jumps quickly ahead of the count, 0-2. A high chopper to short. In one motion, it is going to result in an out. A nifty play there by Lavaca, who backed up initially, bought himself time. And again, the defense on point for both pitchers today. NYSCHSAA came through with an infield single in his last at-bat. Prior to that, went down swinging in the second. The junior out of Amherst, New York, facing Durso for the 3rd time. As he initially shows bunt and then pulls it back as that pitch was clearly outside. Chimay, one of 5 players hitting over 300, and the average is going to take a dip thanks to Jack Durso, who was in the right place at the right time to make sure that Nick was not going to get on base. And we have seen Durso be heavily involved in the defensive prowess in this contest by Kellenberg, as we see off balance, able to get the glove in position to make that catch. And I think they're just checking on him on the hill, making sure that he's okay, as he is 1 out away from posting yet another 1-2-3 frame. He sat him down in order in the 3rd. He did it in the 5th. He's now looking to do it again in the 6th, as he is retired 7 straight batters, going back to that infield single by Chimay to lead off the 4th. But here it's the batter right after Chimay in the lineup, Emick. And we talked about how Emick has taken full advantage of his opportunity behind home plate in his freshman year with David Cloyd wanting to move to center. And Justin Santadecido talks about how those two are very close. And Cloyd took Emick under his wings on a recent road trip. They were roommates. There's no rivalry or competition, despite the fact that Cloyd initially had that spot. And part of it is because Cloyd wanted to move to center field. So I think that took away from any potential tension. And one of the things that Canisius prides itself in is having an overall unselfish group of players. And they talk every day about pushing in the same direction, is the phrase that Santadecido utilizes. And speaking of pushing forward, that's exactly what Emick is going to do in jogging to first base. That's the 4th walk issued by Durso. He's offset it with 7 Ks. And the bottom of the order, Jack Gansey now in the box. Breaking ball. Misplaced there by Durso. So Durso trying to pitch around the walk. Because he'll have a meeting on the hill here with Cotto. Xavier Gates Franklin is the pinch runner at first base, replacing Emick, the catcher. So they look to get some more speed on the base paths with their team leading 3-0. Candifer has only given up 1 hit, and he has made the most of those early 3 runs. We have not had a run scored in this game since the 2nd inning. And Durso able to locate to even the count. So 2s across the board here in the 6th with 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Runner goes, and a swing and a miss for strike 3. The 8th K for Jack Durso. He pitches around the walk. He keeps it a 3-run affair as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any team looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
The loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly. Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash. What a way to end the third quarter.
As West barks out the signals. West is going to keep it himself inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Southside.
Varsity Media offers sports coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Bottom of the sixth inning here in Queens with Josh Candifer still going strong for the Crusaders. As his team leading Kellenberg 3-0. And Jack Durso, as he walked off the mound, was greeted by every single member of the team out of the dugout because he's up to 102 pitches, and that is going to do it for him. The senior who will be heading to the University of Miami, just laying it all on the line today. After Canisius scored 3 runs in the first 2 innings, he was able to produce 4 scoreless innings and only allowed 4 hits. But can his offense pick things up? Jaden Valdez will lead things off. Jack Durso and Richie Lavaca will follow. As Candifer has struck out 4. And every time Kellenberg has looked to fluster him, he has dialed up the perfect response, just as he does there, by getting his 5th strikeout with a nasty breaking ball past the swing of Valdez. So Durso, even though he's done on the mound, can still come through. In the box, he's 0 for 2. He popped out to short, he flied out to center in an absolute robbery by David Cloyd. And that was clearly the defensive play of the game, as he was able to cover a lot of territory from center field to get into the right center field gap. Their lone hit coming in the 5th off the bat of Andrew Noe. A liner to center. This one bounces to second. Austin Pawski connects with Golan Bieski for out number 2. And Candifer just picks up exactly where he left off before giving up that first connection 1 frame ago. Richie Lavaca is 0 for 2. He went down swinging in the 1st. He grounded out to short in the 4th. And this one fouled back over the netting into the stands. Iona Prep actually taking this game in from the stands, as they are perhaps doing a little scouting. If they're successful over Archbishop Malloy, they will see the winner of this game. As game 2 will get underway at about 7 p.m. Eastern, and you can stay locked here to Varsity Media Sports Network for that contest as well. This is game 1, the first semifinal. A right to play in the championship game tomorrow afternoon here at St. John's. The 2-1 pitch, fouled back. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Lavaca with nobody on and 2 out. A player that has been battle-tested with injuries, has fought through it. He lifts one into center field. Cloyd is going to get underneath it. And that is going to be a 1-2-3 6th inning for Josh Candifer, who is 3 outs away from getting his team to the championship game. Canisius 3, Kellenberg nothing. We move to the bottom of the 6th on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
So with Jack Durso done on the mound, Eric Ressiger will take over for him. Another lefty and another senior as we look at his numbers on the season. 2.51 ERA. Against those 37 strikeouts, 9 walks. This is going to be his 13th appearance. As he inches closer to 40 frames on the season. He closed out Game 1 of the City Championship Series against Chaminade and then started Game 2. So he was busy the last time Kellenberg was in action, but similar to what Durso had to battle, it's been a 2-week layoff, and he's not starting this affair. He's coming in here in the 7th inning. So you just wonder whether or not that has any impact whatsoever on Ressiger. Clearly an arm that they have turned to time and time again this season, but he has not been in a competitive game in quite some time. And that's the difference between Long Island wrapping up much sooner than the other teams in the state. And Durso was able to get into his groove once he settled down, but the offense is not. Just 1 hit from the Kellenberg lineup. Now, Canisius has only had 4, but with those 4 hits, and you add in the 2 errors, that has been enough for them to give Candifer 3 runs of support. And we go to the top of the order for Canisius with Gavin Einen, who all he's done today is reach base. 2 walks and a single. So he's looking to maintain perfection with David Cloyd and David Barzak soon to follow. Ressiger falling behind in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. And that one bounces in the dirt, and it also looks like it caromed off of Cotto. We will not speculate, but you can use your imagination in terms of what he may be dealing with right now. So, Cotto shaken up. And we'll try to walk it off. But the bigger issue here is that Ressiger is in a 3-0 hole. So Cotto able to gather himself and will be able to resume play with Ressinger trying to locate the strike zone here. And keep it a 3-run game and see whether or not his lineup can push the right buttons with their last opportunity. And that is a 4-pitch walk to Einen, who has walked in each of his last 3 at-bats. So he is on base for the 4th time today. David Cloyd drew a walk in the 2nd. He grounded out to the pitcher. He went down looking in the 4th around that. Shows bunt. And Einen had such a strong lead from first, he hesitated in terms of which direction he wanted to go. Shows bunt again, and that is going to go down as a strike. So the first strike for Ressinger after 5 consecutive balls. Einen has also stolen 2 bases in this game, so that's a big reason why Ressinger is making sure that they don't let him run wild. As Cloyd is simply trying to lay down the sac bunt to advance the runner. But it has been an eventful approach. The runner goes. The throw to second wide and clearly safely in again for the 3rd time today is Gavin Einen, as he is having some afternoon. 4 appearances on the base paths and 3 stolen bases. He did it in the 1st, the 2nd, and the 7th. And a ground ball to short. They'll throw to first for the out. And that will advance thanks to the stolen base. Einen all the way to 3rd. And Richie Lavaca had really no decision to make there. Smart play as you throw to first. No chance of trying to press the issue with the runner well ahead of you. And if you don't fire that on time, then you potentially give them a situation where they can put runners on the corners with nobody out. So Barzak can bring in an insurance run by putting the ball in play with another runner 90 feet away. He had an RBI sac fly in the 1st. That brought home Einen. He lined out to 3rd in the 2nd. He went down swinging in the 5th. So he's trying to add to his resume as this breaking ball is lifted into shallow right field. And it is going to drop in for a base hit. So easily coming in to score is going to be Einen. And it is a 4-0 Canisius lead as that blooper fell right in front of Van Vakitas. And Barzak comes through with his first hit of the day. So you're going to see a connection into shallow right. It looked like Van Vakitas was going to come in, and then at the last second just held up and hesitated. And that's how it fell through. And without a throw, Einen was able to stand up and score. As Golan Bayeski sent a liner fast down the right field line into foul territory. It has been that type of an afternoon for Kellenberg. The bounces have gone against them consistently, whereas for Canisius, they have been fortuitous. Golan Bayeski had a single in his first at-bat. The runner goes, and the throw to second is not going to be in time, as Barzak adds to the stolen base tally for Canisius. And that aggressive mentality has been well rewarded this afternoon. Barzak now 5 of 6 on the season. And that changes things because now Kellenberg has a runner in scoring position. And there is still just one out. As he sends one right into his own dugout. So everybody had to be aware over the railing to react accordingly. But it seems as if everybody's in good shape. This inning has not lacked drama here in Queens. As Ressinger trying to finish it off with the 0-2 pitch. And he does so as he gets Kellenberg looking for out number 2. And that'll bring up Justin Ostenpowski. And Ostenpowski is 0 for 3. He has gone down swinging 3 times. That, of course, courtesy of Durso. This is the first time he's facing Ressinger. And he starts off with a big swing and a miss. Justin Santadecito, the head coach of Canisius, when he was asked to describe Ostenpowski, he said he is just a solid varsity player. All the things you want on defense he brings and provides at second base. He can hit and run. He goes the other way very well. All of those attributes is what he is able to showcase on a consistent basis. And you could see it even with his offensive numbers. Hits for average. Team leading 6 doubles. He's driven in 13 runs. Can run the bases. And here a chance to cushion the lead. And he is going to be unsuccessful as he goes down swinging for the 4th time. And that will end the top of the 7th inning. Ressinger with back-to-back Ks. He'll now hand things over to his offense. They'll have their last opportunity in the bottom of the 7th, trailing Canisius 4-0 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age.
Our follower base across social media is 75,000 strong,
And our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
Back here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Lance Meadow with you as Canisius 3 outs away from advancing to the state championship game tomorrow afternoon. And no surprise, they are leaning on the man that has done the heavy lifting all afternoon, Josh Candifer, pitching a one-hitter through the first 6 innings after a complete game shutout in his last outing against Nichols last Thursday. That was Game 2 of their 3-game Georgetown Cup Series that helped them punch their ticket to this state tournament. And the junior out of Lancaster, New York, the pitcher of the year in his conference, is searching for his 6th victory of the season. And the first pitch grounded to second. Ostenpowski is there And that is one away. As Ryan Langner quickly swung at that offering. And that'll bring up Michael Cotto with Carson Fessler due up as well. Cotto grounded out to second, drew a walk in his last at bat. The one hit coming courtesy of their number 9 hitter. And here's Cotto in the 7th spot, looking to take advantage. And that one foul tipped to make it 0-2. It's the one thing about Candifer. Much like Durso, he does not waste any time in between pitches. Once he gets in rhythm, he's not going to slow down for you. That's why there were 2 times in this game where time was called and he was well into his setup. So the pitch clock is not going to bother him as he moves forward in his career. It was Cotto trying to stay alive. Andrew Noe's base hit in the 5th. The only connection for Kellenberg. And a ground ball off the mound, up the middle, over the woods. And through Grandma's house as well, you could say, on that one. As that is the 2nd hit of the afternoon for Kellenberg. And it comes in the form of their freshman catcher. As you're going to see, it just ricocheted right off the front of the mound and then went behind Candifer into center field. Very similar to what Noe ended up with in the 5th inning. As Carson Fessler now has a runner on. And he'll tap one to second. Can they turn 2? There's one. And that'll just wipe out the leadoff runner, Michael Cotto. So Austin Pawski has been all over the place in this frame. And he has made 2 very good decisions. You get the leadoff runner there in Cotto, and you'll allow Fessler to claim first. So here is Andrew Noe, who is responsible for one of their 2 hits today. The 9th hitter in the lineup, the MVP of the City Championship Series for Long Island. As Kellenberg still seeking its first run of the day. And Noe patiently getting ahead of the count here. 2 balls and no strikes. This is a Canisius squad that has been so excited to take part in this state tournament. And they are 1 out away from securing one of the 2 spots in the championship game. Usually the Georgetown Cup was the end of their season. Well, they have an opportunity to add another chapter. And Candifer fighting back after falling behind in the count. He's evened it up. So Kellenberg down to its final strike. They won the final 2 games against Nichols to win the Georgetown Cup, 11-0 combined, after losing 12-2. They're a strike away from another shutout. And Noe is going to stay alive and keep breathing. And part of the reason why that first game got out of hand, Jack Steiner was on the hill. He was dealing with a blister. And it popped on his pointer finger and clearly impacted his outing. And then they turned to pitchers that they don't normally utilize. So that would explain why that game was following a much different script than the last two contests. Here's the payoff pitch, and a swing and a miss to end this semifinal as Candifer, a magnificent complete game shutout for the second straight outing, scattering just 2 hits off the bats of this Kellenberg lineup, and he improves to 6-0 on the season, as here was the final strikeout. Andrew Noe not able to solve the Candifer riddle. They leaned on their ace, and he came through in flying colors as the Canisius Crusaders, the number 3 seed, advancing to tomorrow afternoon's championship game. They will now await the winner of Archbishop Malloy and Iona Prep. But it is the team from Western New York coming down to New York City and making quite the statement with tremendous pitching, timely connections, and aggressive base running. It all adds up to a 4-0 victory for Canisius as they improve to 18-12 on the season. So that will wrap up our coverage of Game 1 here in Queens, New York, as we want to thank our executive producer, Ben Turchin, as well as our technical director, Becca Kazaks, camera operator, Tony DeMasso. Lance Meadows saying so long from St. John's University, where Canisius shuts out Kellenberg 4-0 to advance to the championship game here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.